blazing, and tentacles swirling with rage. Our hero is completely stupefied and forget to take another bite. He glances at the takoyaki and thinks that this might contain his mom's energy. Meanwhile, Sun Kraken is lost while remembering about the time he declared his dream of becoming as magnificent Kraken as his mother. She encouraged him, and now he's whining and crying, thinking about that moment. Meanwhile, our player comes out of his stupefied state and is shocked to see the cute little octopus burning with anger. The Kraken tries to say something, but again our impatient warrior skips its rant. This infuriates it even more, which has caused a flood in the river. He looks around the town, which is now drowned in the flood, and reasons that it's just part of the story, not because he has a talent for skipping everything and making tiny little octopuses angry. Then the infuriated son of the Kraken starts to attack him with its tentacles. At this moment, Duji is at a loss on how to save himself and instinctively utters, "Skip." Surprisingly, it works as he manages to dodge the attack. For a while, things continue like this, with our skip master swinging at full speed to save himself from the enraged sea monster, while the said monster keeps shooting at him. Frustrated, he wonders whether he did something bad in a past life to deserve this awful luck. However, after getting tired of this game, he is determined to cut the little sea creature and tries to use his slashing max skill on it. As usual, his bad luck intervenes and he can't use the skill because he needs to acquire an underwater skill for attacking underwater. He looks at the swarm of attacks and doesn't understand what trick or weapon he should use to defend himself as he has only basic equipment. Then, the idea strikes him to attack the octopus while using his swimming skill. He dodges the attack and gets a little closer to the Kraken for a precise hit. After doing this, he gains the experience of attacking underwater. But his stunt backfires because the Kraken is whirling the water while making him feel sick. Somehow, he manages to grab the Kraken. At that same moment, his system tells him he has used the skip skill again. Consequently, he is now swirling along with the octopus. However, the system has mercy on him and gives him another reward skill called Intimacy Gauge Max, which leads the octopus to bond with him as his son. Then he realizes this was the skill he was meant to acquire. Overall, after defeating the sea monster with intimacy, he also earns another bizarre title as Family of the Kraken. Afterwards, the octopus ends the flood and reverses the damage it had caused. People are commenting on how absurdly this game is designed. After looking at the vendors who are also selling weird things, the wet towel finally realizes that it is not him only, but the game and everyone in it are just as mad, including the game itself. He thinks about the views of the people regarding the famous game Ferreris because of its weird but unique setting. One community informs everyone how it is a crazy game and impossible to level up because of its insane hidden class. With a thoughtful expression, he considers that no matter how hard this game is, he might still get into it. However, his thought process is interrupted by the son Kraken who is clinging to him, but it reasons that now Duji is his father. At first he is annoyed, but after looking at its innocent face, he gives up. Then he decides to check on the random card he is going to receive. After clicking on the system, he gets something big wrapped in candy. He waits patiently for it to come out. He continues waiting for the wrapping to be removed, but it's taking too long. He wishes he could skip it. As soon as he says skip, his skill activates, and to his disbelief, there's only a tiny piece of bubblegum inside the grandiose wrapper. He facepalms while realizing how the gaming system seems to be punishing him. At that moment, some knights appear on the scene about to say something. However, the skip master skips the information they were about to convey, which results in him extending the default skip mode. As a consequence of skipping the main information, the knights now ask him whether he's going to accept their request or not. He is dumbfounded again, while realizing he has no idea about the background of the quest he's supposed to choose. Meanwhile, the octopus continues to annoy him, which he has been ignoring while shouting to the knights that they should give a summary of the story in the quest window. Unfazed to his fury, the knights are still waiting for him to make a decision. With his carefree nature, he shrugs off the situation, while thinking that it's just a quest, and so he accepts it. The knights are happy about his acceptance and are about to tell him about the items he will receive, but once again, he skips the crucial information. He looks around and notices that the viewers are no longer there. Nervously, he announces for them to come back if they want to see the quest item he's about to reveal. He retrieves the item from his storage, only to be baffled when he sees that the legendary quest item is turned out to be an onion. He is feeling quite weird seeing the onion as the quest item and doesn't understand the purpose of it. Anyway, he decides to check the reaction of the stream and is baffled by the hundreds of dislikes. Then he turns towards the comments in hopes of getting something positive. The feedback is full of negative comments about how boring his streaming is, and it is not his usual style of wet towel as the ADC player. He then goes into depression, realizing how the melee character isn't earning him the fame he wants. The most important thing is that he himself doesn't understand a thing about melee characters, so how will his viewers get a grip on it, like understanding the logic of a sea monster living in freshwater? Besides, many fans prefer ADC strategies than melee character. After being depressed for a while, he becomes determined to do his best, because no matter what, he is the first to explore this quest in the game. When he stands up to get a hint about the quest, a girl approaches him about something, but once again he skips the conversation, which makes her angry, and she walks off. He doesn't understand why everyone is doing weird things. But the octopus on his waist answers with a cute expression, while saying that it's because he's always being impatient. He nervously responds that this cute little scolding feels so good, which makes the Kraken happy as well. While he's busy talking with his adopted son, the old man approaches him. Seeing him, he guesses the old man might have some information regarding the quest. The old man starts to say something about the Kraken, but he as usually skips that information. Meanwhile, this old man seems to be running towards somewhere, which makes him gasp and hard to talk. Seeing him like this, our skip master again skips the moment. Afterward, the old guy starts to rant about the nutrients of onions and their properties, which makes our guy quite nervous. Then he wonders whether he can skip it and suddenly notices that it's already evening. With dread, he realizes that even with his skip skill, he is still listening to the old man's rant. The old man is ranting about how to choose a good onion. Then he turns to its storage method, which our guy still skips, and now it's night. Afterwards, this grandpa ranting about the octopus and its quality, which enrages our skipping master, who skips it again and again as the old man continues to share random information. Viewers witnessing his dread comment on how the developers made such a weird NPC in the form of that old man. Finally, after a number of skips, the old man hugs our guy like he's consoling him for listening to such a long rant. To listen to his long story, the old man is about to tell him his royal secret as a reward, which Doogie skips again in outrage. Then the old man is going to vanish while thanking him, after he lets out a sigh of relief without noticing that his background has changed. As soon as he raises his head, he is petrified to see the snow around him. At that moment, a snow monster attacks him from behind. Looking at the monster, he wonders whether the transportation is the work of the old man. Then he decides to take down the monster first. But to his bad luck, his sword has finished its durability. After the end of the durability, the item is destroyed, and that happens with his sword. He is confused at first because he hasn't used the sword much, but suddenly he remembers when he swished the sword unnecessarily, which must count as well. Now, looking eye to eye with the monster, both feel awkward at first. Then the monster decides to cut the awkwardness and attacks him. Weaponless, he doesn't understand what to do first. Then the little sea monster on his waist catches his eye. He uses his pseudo-son as a shield as well as a sword, cutting the monster's hand, which hurts the emotion of little octopus as our guy has used him as a shield. Meanwhile, the monster cries in pain. On the other hand, he decides to escape after attacking it again, but suddenly the monster is headless, and he is startled to see it because he didn't do anything. He asks the Kraken whether it was his work, which he cutely declines. At that moment, someone claims that he is the responsible behind it. He looks toward the voice and finds a very shivering player. The player asks that how it feels to have the opportunity seized from him. He makes a face to see the player's attitude, which makes the newcomer angry, and he starts shooting randomly at the monster, while barely missing our main character. He then asks about the identity of that player and his purpose for being there. While narrowing his eyes and glaring, he asks who sent him. His expression frightens the newcomer, and he runs away. After he has run away, our guy wonders whether he was that scary. Meanwhile, his son points out the falling snow, which refreshes their mood, but within a few seconds it is revealed that this snowing is actually an avalanche again caused by our dude. Therefore, this refreshed mood turns literally cold when they are half buried in the snow caused by the avalanche without any protection from the cold. His system warns him that he is going to face the status abnormality because of the sudden temperature change. He thinks while shivering how this virtual reality feels so much more real because of the cold he is feeling now. He thinks that he is going to lose it, but Kraken interjects as it is who is going to lose while turning into blue because of the cold. Unfazed by its state, our guy then happily tells him he is going to use him as a shield again, besides suggesting it to do it in a better way next time. At this moment, he finally notices the change in its color and asks about it. It replies that it is because of the cold it is feeling. Now he turns serious and thinks about the status abnormalities while deciding to do something about it. He looks around for supplies and finds only thin tree branches. Then he decides to light a fire with his help, as he finally manages to read a 3-line summary of the method for lighting a fire. Now he knows that he doesn't have anything else